Hello, lovelies. Gogokid teacher Christy here to talk to you today very briefly about daylight savings time and how it will affect your scheduling. Now, don't forget that in most of the United States, daylight savings time will go into effect this year on Sunday, November the 4th, 2018. It is fall, so we, of course, will be falling back and gaining an extra hour of daytime, which means we will be, of course, turning our clocks back. That will happen during the 1 o'clock a.m. hour for us, and that means that because Beijing does not participate in daylight savings time, we will be adding an additional hour to our time difference between our local time and Beijing time. So it's very important to pay very close attention to this time change and to take into account how it will affect your scheduling and timing of your classes so that you are not late or marked with a teacher no show because of the change in time. I live in South Carolina, which is part of the Eastern time zone. So currently, prior to daylight savings time, I am exactly 12 hours apart from Beijing. So my 1 p.m. is their 1 a.m. After daylight savings time goes into effect, we add an hour to our day. Our clocks turn back 1 hour, and that means that I will then have a 13-hour time difference between my local time and Beijing time. So it will be my 1 a.m. will be their 2 p.m. now. So this will affect the times that I'm able to book as well as the peak times. Currently, peak times for Gogokid are 7 to 9 p.m. Beijing time. Now that will not change. The peak times Beijing time stay that 7 to 9 p.m. What will change is my local time for these peak teaching times. Currently, prior to daylight savings, peak time for me is 7 to 9 a.m. But beginning on Sunday, November the 4th, my local time for peak will go back and become 6 to 8 a.m. local Eastern time. You can do those calculations yourself for your particular time zone. It's just important not to forget that that change does take place on Sunday, November the 4th. Now, Gogokid has just updated our scheduling page to allow for this time change so that we can schedule and book our classes properly and not get our times mixed up. So now let's go take a peek and see what these changes look like on the portal and go through kind of how to read and figure all of it out. Okay, so now let's take a look at the calendar and I will walk you through the changes and explain how it has been changed a little bit to take into account daylight savings time. Now, in most of the United States, daylight savings time will go into effect on Sunday, November the 4th. And my schedule that you're looking at here is Eastern. So currently, prior to daylight savings time taking effect, I am exactly 12 hours apart from Beijing. So, of course, my 12 a.m. is going to be Beijing's 12 p.m., and so on. The first thing you'll notice when you look at the calendar for the week of October the 29th through Sunday, November the 4th, is that there are these darked out spots on the schedule, and you will see the hours of 1 and 1:30 a.m. repeat. Now, for these dark spots, you cannot click them, you cannot book them. The spots between Monday and Saturday are just placeholders to allow for the time change, which will take place on Sunday, November the 4th. So if you come and you look at the slots on Sunday, November the 4th, the first 1 a.m. slot is exactly normal, 12-hour time difference for me in Eastern time. Eastern 1 a.m., Beijing 1 p.m. Eastern 1:30 a.m., Beijing 1:30 p.m. Now this is when the time change comes into effect. This time slot repeats the 1 a.m. hour for us here in the United States because in the fall we are, of course, falling back and gaining an extra hour during the day. So our 1 o'clock time will repeat, and this is when the change occurs. Our second 1 a.m. time slot now becomes Beijing 2 p.m. 1:30 a.m. for us Eastern Time becomes Beijing 2:30 p.m. and so on. All the way down, there's going to be no more repeats. It's just going to go on as usual for the rest of the day. You'll notice too, down on the bottom, you've got some more darked out slots because of the time change. The last class is still going to be Beijing 9 p.m., but that now becomes 8 a.m. here Eastern Standard, so we lose our 8:30 and 9 a.m. time slots. However, we do gain a couple of evening slots. Down in the bottom, you'll see more darked out spots that we cannot click or book. But on Sunday, when daylight savings time goes into effect, we now gain our local 8 and 8:30 p.m. time slots, which are now 9 and 9:30 a.m. Beijing time respectively. So I hope you found that quick review of the schedule and the changes to be helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below, email me, tag me on Facebook, anything you want, and I will do my best to help answer any of your questions. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.